Yeah, listen, you can go to my YouTube channel, watch hours and hours of footage of me casting demons out of people. And it's just like looking out in your backyard and saying, I don't have that many bugs. It's like, yeah, you're not looking for them. I mean, like if you get down on your knees and crawl around, you're gonna start and digging around, you're gonna see a whole bunch of stuff. So it's like people were like, oh, there's not that many demons. It's like, well, think about this. Every military on the planet wears fatigues, camouflage. Why? Because hiddenness gives you strategic military advantage. So if you're the devil, why would you reveal yourself? Because that's the fastest route to being destroyed in a military sense. So hiddenness is the strategic advantage Satan has. As a matter of fact, even in the Bible, it says he shows up as an angel of light. And so you wouldn't even think you've experienced the devil. You would think you actually were experiencing an angel of light. And so it's not even just hiddenness, but it's also a counterfeit. So you're either not going to experience the devil at all, that's hiddenness, or you're going to experience the devil in a form that is the opposite of the devil. So that's two out of the three ways you experience him. The third way is unveiled and unmasked. And that's when it gets crazy. And so I'll tell you a fun story. Back in the day, I used to do house calls because I would cast demons out of people all the time. And I kind of had that reputation. And this is like pre-social media days for me. And by the way, every time I tell this story, people are like, why don't you do house calls anymore? Man, I'm busy. You do it yourself. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I equip and train people to do the work of ministry themselves. So like, I think I have a problem with like people making me a ghost hunter or making me a guru or making me like, that's not even the point of scripture. Like Jesus literally trained over 70 people and said, go cast out demons. They came back saying, this is crazy. It's so easy. They listen to us. And then he was like, okay, settle down. Just be thankful your name's written in the Lamb's book of life. So it's like this whole idea that you need me to come to your house is the wrong idea. So I'm going to tell the story, but if you need help getting rid of things in your house, just go to my YouTube channel. I have a 2 million view video that'll teach you how to deal with it. And it works, like tens of thousands of comments of people being like, my home is finally rid of all this evil. Like, thank you so much. Okay, so now having said that, I used to do house calls, and I would take my GoPros with me for accountability. So I'd set up some GoPro cameras and just leave them running continual so that I could capture whatever happened and be accountable just in case something weird happened. And this woman, she kept saying like she was having poltergeist experiences. So in other words, like, the doors opening and closing, the cabinets, of her opening and closing of her kitchen, just, cold bursts of air, disembodied voices, like classic haunting, Now, as a Christian, within Orthodoxy, I don't believe in ghosts. So I just say that, like, I believe in that demons impersonate ghosts. And that's a whole nother thing we probably don't have time to get into, but that's my personal belief. I explain this stuff on my channel, but so I do believe that people are having experiences with entities they think are ghosts. But remember, there's 3 categories that I'm living within. And one of them is counterfeit. Like, and so I go through this whole woman's house. She's showing me all this stuff. I'm filming it. And then we finally get to the end and I was like, okay, I've got good news and bad news. She's like, well, what's the good news? I'm like, the good news is you are dealing with an entity. She's like, what's the bad news? I'm like, it's not, because she thought it was a little girl, a ghost of a little girl. And I said, I got chills even getting ready to tell you what happened. I love this stuff. So I said, okay, the bad news is it's not the ghost of a little girl, it's a demon. Right as I say that, she had this like, this angel cement statue thing that was hanging on her wall. It literally just leaps off the wall and falls to the ground and breaks. Super dramatic, like Hollywood stuff, right? And she's like, she's screaming. I was like, she's like, oh, like I knew there was something else going on. I was like, okay, it's even worse. I said, it's even worse than this. Okay. She's like, what is it? I was like, the demon's not around you, it's in you. Right when I say that.
Wow.
And again, I can't even put this footage online because I never did release it. I don't have her, like every time the stuff that I have on my channel, I have release forms posted everywhere, like you are being filmed, this event, that we will put this online. And still sometimes people ask me to remove stuff and I do. I oblige. Like I'm not trying to ruin someone's life by putting one of their craziest moments of their life out there for public consumption. But I don't. So right when I say that to this woman, I said, it gets even worse. The demon is not around you, it's in you. Right when I say that, she starts contorting, manifesting. That's what we call it. And I'll be honest with you, listen, the reason why I'm laughing is because I promise you, I want to be normal so bad. Like I want to be normal so bad. And it freaks me out. This stuff freaks me out. Like I'm just telling you straight up, like I'm weirded out when this stuff happens. So I kind of flinch back like, whoa. And I just started casting a demon out of her. Here's the thing. I told her, you have a lot of cursed items in your house. You need to remove all these cursed items, blah, 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 but you need to be free from demons. So she got free. I cast the demons out of her. And there's this phenomenon, especially when I'm in people's homes, when I cast demons out of them, that their home feels lighter. Like it almost feels like people start turning the lights on physically. It's a weird phenomenon. It's the atmosphere completely changes. She got deliverance, which is a word that we use to denote like demons cast out of her. And we threw away all those items that were, I believe, the best way I can explain it is I don't want to use the word empowering, but they're usually just the result of whatever trauma or pain. Like a lot of times these objects are like some people are experiencing pain or trauma, and then they get these things, these like talismans or charms or statues, like, oh, they're going to help me. Because the demonic is just false help. That's the best way I can explain. Like witchcraft is just a bad way of helping yourself. It's people going like, I need to go to a psychic medium. I need to burn this sage. They're trying to help themselves. And all these items are usually connected to the evidence of them seeking out help just through another means than Jesus Christ. And so basically when I'm telling people to throw stuff away, it's like throw all this crap away that was a replacement for Jesus. Like, and so that was part of it. And so do people have demons? Yeah, I think a lot more people have demons inside of them. But to make this kind of go full circle, it's usually me confronting it. And then once I unmask it, it's like, what's that show with Scooby-Doo? Scooby-Doo?
Yeah.
Like, it's like the end of the show is always like you pull the mask off. And I think for me, it's like people come to me and when I take the mask off, like, hey, that's not your dead relative. That's a demon. As soon as I take the mask off, the demon starts manifesting like crazy. Oh, hey, that you received this through psychic medium, but like actually that was demonic activity, and it was one demon telling another demon to tell you that psychic. The people start manifesting like crazy. It's like the end is always the same ending, is me pulling off the mask and then demons manifesting like crazy. So just like I would encourage people like, oh, you don't have that many bugs, just get down on your knees and crawl around in your backyard. Like the more you unmask and you start going through the blades of grass and digging around, it's there, man. Turn over that rock. You'll see it.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And it's one of those things where the more you look for it, the more you're going to see it, because it's the intent there is there. I think a lot of times people live their lives with blinders on, and you just kind of get focused in on your daily life, and you're not thinking about all this other stuff. And I wanted to ask you this because, and this is something I actually wanted to ask you in the beginning, make sure we had time. I'm trying to be cognizant of time because I know you have another recording at the top of the hour here. But so recently, you probably saw on the news, there was a big kind of riot in Philadelphia. I think it was last week. It was like over 100 people went through the shopping district, breaking windows, robbing everything, and the police arrested 52 kids. I call them kids. They're young adults,
Yeah.
There was one video on there that I saw, and this woman was filming the kids getting arrested, and she starts laughing. And the more she laughed hysterically throughout this entire video, the more almost sinister sounding the laugh got. Yeah. And I started thinking, this woman sounds possessed. And I started thinking about the city of Philadelphia, coming from that area, and how, I think that there's a big, listen, Philadelphia's got a demon problem, son, 99 of them, so like it's one of those things where I think about that, and I really do believe that. But when it comes to, because you read in the Bible about Legion, right? And this guy had so many demons in him. He was breaking chains and all this stuff. And when he cast out, I mean, these demons went in over 1,000 pigs. I mean, there was a lot of demons in this guy. Is this when a city has something like that going on inside of it? Do you think that it could be just a specific type of demon that has its hold on an entire city, or do you think it's like a demonic playground where these things are just manifesting and just having their way within the people in those city limits? Because it seems like some of these cities really do, in all seriousness, have a demon problem.
Yeah, well, they do. And matter of fact, each city has a different temperament, and it has a different like thing that it's known for negatively, which I believe points to the principalities and powers. The Bible talks about there being divisions. Like it says, we wrestle not against flesh and blood. So we know, okay, so we're not what does this mean? We're not fighting humans, but principalities, powers, and rulers in high places. So there's this division, there's these ranks, principalities, powers, and rulers in high places. So there definitely is a designation of authority within the demonic realm, and there are ranks. And we know this because Satan is an emulator, he's a copycat. And so even amongst angels, there's rankings. So you have like the archangels, right? So Michael, the archangel, Gabriel, the archangel, Gabriel being a messenger angel, Michael being what seems to be like a warfare based angel. And so there's different divisions and ranks of angels. And so Satan is emulating as well. And in Mark chapter 5, which you mentioned, the term legion also appears, in scripture. And when you talk about legion, it's not a single entity, but it's like a multitude, a large number that's operating in unison, because there's a military connotation. So legions it was a large unit of Roman soldiers. So imagine when Jesus was walking around, he was ministering to Jewish people inside of Rome. And so obviously Rome doesn't exist anymore in the sense that it did. It just reformulated. That's a whole nother podcast. But, so he's speaking to this audience. So speaking to Legion, commanding Legion out, he would have been saying like this large unit of Roman soldiers, it would typically consist of several thousand men would be a Roman legion. So, but they would be unified under a hierarchy of generals, And so I think when you look at cities, there is a designation of legions, there is a designation of a hierarchy, and you see that